a rainy day here, so we're just going to try to cover everything. For those of you that are online, I'm going to hand this right over here to Dr. Peterman. Good morning, Dr. Peterman. How are you?
Morning. I'm well. Thanks for asking.
Good. Yeah. A little humidity in the air. How's it affecting the sound of the monster Berghaus organ?
It's well enough. I did have to do some tweaking yesterday after
Okay.
our 5 p.m. service. I went up in a swell chamber, probably spent about 30 minutes tuning a few things that had gotten a little wonky after a few days of rain.
Yeah. Well, we need it here, and it's I think pouring out there again right now. So much needed rain for Arizona. Speaking of rain and much needed things. We've got a few blank spots here on the organ. Let's talk about. To me,
Okay.
this is always kind of like a car. You get a car and there's like little buttons. That are
Just a
supposed to
car?
be-
How about an airplane?
or something. Yeah, there's things that are supposed to be there and they're not.
Okay.
So,
Well,
what
this
do
is
we got here?
this is actually the second iteration of our organ console. What I play is called the console. So if you talk about the organ, you kind of mean everything, whether or not you know it. But this is the console, and the first console was a little bit smaller. And then maybe Pastor Jeff do you remember when the Great Flood was?
2008 or so in there, I believe. So.
The pamphlet here says the inauguration was January 2009. So I don't.
Close. It was within a
around,
year.
around 2009, somewhere or another. So there was a great flood within the sanctuary caused by one of the fire extinguishers up top, and that ruined the console. It started right here, and I believe the church was without an organ, or they moved in the old organ, the Wicks, for a little while.
Right.
And then, as they contemplated the next console paid for through insurance, Barrack House put in some optional, what we call prepared for stops,
Okay.
which weren't in existence on the first console. So this whole section right here of draw knobs, they still don't have anything attached to it, except we do have chimes and harp, which we added in 2018, kind of the 10th anniversary of the church. And also, there wasn't really a designated room for all of these things, but there is a spot, and it's called the blower room.
That's up here behind the cross, right?
The
Right.
large
Yeah.
cross.
Okay.
So in order to put the chimes and harp in 2018, they had to open up that wall, largely thanks to Monty Scudder. And he prepared the room, and then Barrack House put in the chimes and harp, and also some swell shades, just like those over there. So there are some very large behind the metal grates over there that you can't see, but that helps me actually keep the blower noise down.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
using the chimes and harp.
Let's get into to those that may not know what those actual shades do. Now, what do you do when you're moving
The
those
swell
shades
shades,
back and forth?
so I use the gas pedal looking thing.
Right.
This one right here controls what I call the actual swell chamber. So it's just like the shades on your window, lets the sun in, lets the sun out. So right now they're open. It should be pretty loud. I'm going to close it,
Oh, but significant difference.
and it blocks the sound. There's actually shades on the side as well, which I've never actually tried to look at because I'm not able to see it from here, but they're in a horizontal manner as opposed to vertical. But yes, we put the swell shades on the solo division as well in the blower room.
So last week we had a couple kids here, which was wonderful. And they were help controlling this because it gets a bit much, right? I mean,
It made it pretty wild. I was trying to instruct the kids while playing. We had about 5 minutes of tutorial beforehand, but I think I was largely indecipherable, like play. And then if they played when I was trying to also instruct them what they would play next.
Right.
And I don't know how it came out, but it's probably mostly jumbled.
I think it sounded pretty good. I mean, you had the little chime.
We
thing. There
perfected
was-
it by the 9:15.
Yeah, right. That's always
Got pretty good.
By the time the 9:15 comes around, we know what we're doing. We had the little chimes that were next to the
The wind chimes over there. Yeah.
next to it, which added something too, which was really nice. So they were going back and forth in that thing, and
Yeah, I've actually at my former church, a friend of mine. I love surrounding myself with octogenarians. They really know old styles of building things and just a lot of information. And he helped me build a wind chime for the organ. And it goes round and round. There are some wind chimes that you can buy for the organ that just stop. It does one turn
Right.
and then you call it a day. But this one, it goes round and round. And what we did last week was I found a piece that could go really well with wind chimes. So obviously, I just used a kid from our children's choir for each service to play the wind chimes during a softer, kind of melancholy spot in the prelude.
It's really nice. Now, speaking of, so we've got all this, all of our beginning and most of our services surrounded by this organ, like the opening prelude and the gathering hymn and all that. How does that how does this instrument and the music here contribute to the liturgy and?
I like to think that it plays a crucial, I won't say the most important part of the musical liturgy, but it certainly leads just like an orchestra. And we have soft sounds, we have loud sounds, and some of these sounds over here could be fun to add to. I don't actually like all of the pre-designated names. There's certainly options for debate about if anything were ever added in the future, what you might do. And in fact, they don't even have to be pipes; it could be electronic sounds.
So, I mean, let's just take, for example, there's a place here called Organ Stop, and
Yep.
it is a probably the largest pipe organ in Arizona. But it's not just pipes. It's not just wind going through pipes. They've got all sorts of stuff that these buttons could be used for that could enhance the overall worship experience and freeing ourselves to.
Right before the pandemic, I was in talks with Brian Barrickhouse, who's currently the president, and just asking about a bunch of what ifs.
Right.
What if we added a trap set? So just percussion, like snare.
Okay, okay.
You didn't expect me to say that.
Well, what is that?
Well, yeah, a bunch of percussion instruments like
okay,
snare
right.
drum,
Oh, nice.
wood block. I mean, those exist at organs. I live right by Organ Stop, so I'm greatly influenced by their style of playing and what can be done. Anyway, he said if you find anybody to add a trap set to your organ, take my name off.
So we wouldn't put the little monkeys that
We would put
clapping.
maybe not the monkeys. However, some cymbals. Sure.
Yeah,
He said you can't possibly play a triangle liturgically. And I accepted that as a challenge, but anyway,
that is a challenge. He threw down the gauntlet.
I thought you could be the first guy, Brian Barrickhouse, to actually have a triangle, and then I would play it liturgically. But in any case, the pandemic hit, and then we put that little conversation aside. But last week, yeah, I added the wind chimes, and that is, like I said, a stop. So anything that we have, the harp and chimes that we add in 2018, as I said, these are called percussion stops. You also have them over here in the solo division. So percussion, anything that is being hit. So the chimes, there's a little hammer at the top, and with the harp, it's kind of like a xylophone, but there's still some striking action. So anything that's being hit, and then the wind chimes, you're kind of hitting like the chimes.
And you can hear those chimes when you begin the prelude. That's usually an indication of things are starting. You hear that.
Oh, those chimes. Yeah, that's my cue to let the tech team know. Turn on the camera.
Oh, this is all behind the scenes. All right, so we're going to go over to the blower room for a minute. So while you prepare that, I'm going to talk to Pastor Jeff here for 1 minute, and I just want to. Sorry, there, Chase. Here we go, Pastor Jeff. Good morning.
How
Good morning, Pastor Jeff. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Wonderful message this morning.
Thank you.
It's inspired by the rain, I'm certain.
And what I had for dinner last night.
What you had for dinner last night? I'm sure it was delicious.
You're chilly.
My chili, yeah.
All right. Good.
Really behind the scenes.
That's right.
So we're talking liturgy this morning, and your message actually kind of fit into this. So because we start with confession and forgiveness,
Right.
and a recent study came out of more Generation X and millennial men are coming back to traditional worship. What contributes to that, do you think?
Well, I've lived long enough to see all the sorts of trends, believing that only large churches would survive. Then it was like only small churches. And I think what we have to remember is liturgy means the work of the people. People come to worship God. It's not to come to be entertained. It's not to come to say, oh, I like that music, or I don't like that music, or I like that message or don't like that message. And that's kind of the trap we've fallen into in our entertainment culture, that we kind of treat church that way sometimes.
Sure.
But worship is part of that. So we begin with public confession, because in our tradition, that's the acknowledgement we are sinful and we fall short of the mark, and then we worship the God who created us.
Yeah, it's amazing, and you said it in your message too. There should be a day of confession.
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, this is what we're called to do, and especially in the psalm that was read today.
Right. And I think, it's something that we kind of go through the motions sometimes, and we all fall into it. I fall into it. Everyone does, where in church we confess and then we kind of put it out of our mind till next Sunday or whenever we worship again, or the middle of the week or whatever. And so it's kind of good to think about it on a daily basis. Like, where do I need to acknowledge I'm wrong? Where do I need to be strengthened where I'm correct? And just ask God for guidance.
Yeah, amen. We say here often, and especially you, that just church is not, you're not in communication with God an hour on Sunday.
Right.
This is a lifelong process. So speak to that a little bit.
Well, I think we go back to someone who inspired Martin Luther, who, of course, our faith tradition is named for. He was inspired by a man named St. Augustine. And Augustine had the famous quote, "The church is not a museum for saints, it's a hospital for sinners." And so we're all sinners. We all fall short of God's glory. And that's what we try to really understand here. And when we do that, as I kind of mentioned this morning, strangely, that liberates us into, being better people and understanding God's grace. And because we understand God's grace in our life more, then we can share that with others.
So true, so true. What can we say to those folks that are kind of struggling between learning more about God and what church they should go to, and where do they need to go, and should they try a traditional church or a contemporary church?
Well, they should come to La Casa de Cristo, of course.
That's what I was setting you up for.
But seriously, I mean, it is a spiritual journey, and they need to find a place where they're comfortable. And I always tell people, find a place that you feel at home with. Church, like many things today, has the whole ties of growing up. And because you grew up Lutheran or Roman Catholic or Baptist, you just went to that church. Those days are long gone. People want to find a place with meaning. And I think, as I've said, the greatest compliment I think was ever paid of La Casa de Cristo is we're a large church that feels like a smaller church. Because I think people are friendly and they care about one another. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. But I think what people find here is something authentic and genuine.
Amen. Amen.
All right.
Well, thank you for that, Pastor Jeff.
Well, you have a great day.
You do the same. I'm going to let you get out there and hug and greet babies and the whole 9 yards. We're going to go back here with we're actually not. We're going to stay right here.
Well, we can go back there in a second. I
Okay.
just wanted to talk about a couple things that have been intriguing for me.
Okay.
And underneath the right side of the console, let's see.
Chase, can you get in there?
It's over there.
Oh my gosh, we're going deep under here. This is really behind the
You
scenes.
see the I don't know, MIDI. There's MIDI ports.
we see
Just
in there?
the black.
Yeah.
Little
I
bit.
don't know what we can see, but there's
Maybe I'll take a picture. Like, you did a great job, Chase, 2 or 3 weeks ago when we were talking about the warped piece of wood over there. I didn't know that he actually was able to get it on the fly.
He got right in there.
So there are 2 USB ports down there, which we've used one time when GCU came in. Maybe we should plug GCU's concert.
Yeah. No,
Reformation
concerts come up. Check out La Casa de Cristo /concerts.
And for one of their concerts, it required the use of maybe a MIDI keyboard or something. So Mark Fury, he figured it all out. We had to work for a little bit, but he plugged in his computer to the organ through the MIDI port down there. And somehow, or another, I don't know exactly what I was doing, but I was playing a key, and then spacey noise would come out slowly but surely. So there are some interesting options.
This is a high-tech console.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
really.
It's 18, 16, 18 years old.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, and it's literally just if you're putting in like computer terms, just a keyboard. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a little
there's a MIDI
cable that
ports,
goes
and then
back
there's
in,
a USB
Yeah.
everything. So yeah, there's some almost antiquated ports over there, but they still work.
They still work, but I mean, yeah.
So that's an option for just putting your computer in. I don't know how that would work. I keep on wanting to get Gary Spears, who's really smart with those things. Can we just play around one day?
I'm sure you'd figure it out
Yeah.
to
Well,
make
maybe.
this sound even better. Let's get back into the bowels.
Okay. All right.
Where all this stuff kind of connects and intermingles here. Because this is really back here is there's all sorts of soundproofing, and there's all sorts of wires and everything else. And it's.
Are you making fun of my mattresses and my quilts?
I'm not. I think it's rather clever.
Let's go in here.
Well, let's go in here. All right, we're going to hit to the back of the. This is called the sacristy, and this is where we.
You have got to. Sal has already taken down the ladder that I put up yet, but you know what?
Yeah, let's go anyway.
I spent some time last night putting the ladder up. I'm gonna.
Okay, yeah, put it down there. So we use the ladder because there's not real great ways of getting up to some of these areas of the church. So. And we've been here before. We've climbed this ladder together and on the interlude, but it's literally a hole that's in the ceiling, and yeah. We have a little sign there. I don't know if you can see the sign that's on the door because this is the sacristy bathroom, and if you sorry about that. If you come out of the bathroom with that thing down. You might hit your head. There might be a thing. So we've got all sorts of
sign in the
signs and everything else. But this is the way we get to the inner places. So
are we climbing up?
Sure, let's go.
Chase,
yeah, Chase is giving us a 5-minute warning. All right, we got 5 minutes to get up there. Do you want me to hold? I'm glad you're not. Yeah, okay, there you go. And up we go. There's a little light switch that's right there. I'm gonna be on the thing. Chase is going on up there. And so this is someplace we've been before. This is where the actual blower is. It is distributing all the air to all the pipes, correct?
Back as you cross that threshold there.
All right, here we go. And here is the blower, right. All right.
This is the blower room. All right, everybody kind of makes fun of me for all the rugs. I don't actually have any mattresses in here, but it's as soft as a mattress. So the one problem with having opened up this room with this wall here, so the shades are closed, is that, there's a large blower right here.
Right.
And I really don't like extra noise. I can't stand it. So I made sure that it's okay. It's not influencing the tuning or anything else. A little out of breath.
I got that.
I mean, there's only 12 steps. Why am I so tired?
But this is, without this, we have no sound. This is blowing all the air through.
This is the primary blower. There are some small secondary blowers that kind of help maintain the wind pressure from half a mile away.
Right.
But I didn't want the congregation on this side, where the large cross is, to be hearing a constant rumble. There still might be there is a little sound, but we're usually using the air conditioner.
Yeah.
So with the air conditioner, you can't tell anything, but this definitely helps. So I am not ashamed to have put a whole bunch of rugs and even some carpet down, just anything that would suck up some sound or even residual rumbling.
And if you need to find a place to have a little nap, great place. Great spot.
I don't tell my secret spots, but this is one of them. So if we ever actually added anything, what would probably happen is the blower would get shoved under that thing,
okay,
possibly, or a little bit of rearranging, or maybe put against this wall if we didn't want to go through the extraordinary effort of moving the blower. But this was the room that was just going to be designated for the blower until...
Yeah, we're like,
let's stuff some time.
There's spots to use, so why not? Let's see some of these little actuators and little things. This all comes from the console, right? Or, yes?
Yes, that was put in with the chimes and harp, and there's a fuse in there that I actually blew as soon as the news crew had left that day. Fox came in and interviewed me, and then I played 3 chime notes at one time, and I blew a fuse. So then they went to Ace Hardware or something, got a stronger fuse so I could play more than... Because, accidents will happen. Or there's times that if you want to imitate a boxing match, who knows? Liturgically, of course. You might put your fist down something.
Right. Well, He's bad luck, you know.
Yeah. If you haven't seen our Corey McCloskey interview, you should check it out.
Yeah, there's lots of good stuff. So,
2018.
these are the chimes that start us off.
Yeah.
During the thing, I like to point those things out so people, they can hear actually what you're playing and what I mean, where these things come from. And
Yeah, way out here.
Out there, it's beautiful, and back here.
And it really resonates. So whenever I use a chime and harps, as Chase showed earlier, there's a gas pedal in the middle, and then on the far left, there's another gas pedal. So that's the swell shades for this room here only. So there are two different pedals for two different rooms.
So do you open these shades up when you're playing the chimes?
I do. I do.
Okay. So
Just
let a little air out.
yeah.
And,
And from the organ console is so far away, it doesn't sound super loud, nor do the chimes, but it actually puts out a hefty sound. I'm quite surprised.
Okay.
So what I see with those prepared for stops, like we have plenty of trumpets, flutes, other things that are loud, and I would never want to add anything that's already redundant with all those. So every single time there's an organ builder or technician that comes just to visit, they always say, I wish your organ had more strings or celeste, which are very undulating, soft sounds. So that's kind of where my dream is, to have actually softer sounds.
Let me put you on the spot. Okay. Fast. Next recital. When you got that planned?
Oh, that is putting me on the spot.
It is.
I've been thinking, I'm not saying during the 8 o'clock sermon sometimes, when is going to be my next recital? But actually, my prelude today, I've been sneaking in some pieces by Jean Longley for the last month or so. Those are recital pieces. It's all from one set. So I've been secretly preparing, but without a concrete date in mind.
It was a beautiful prelude. So if you're watching here for the 9:15, stay tuned for that prelude. And I think we're all out of time, but it's been wonderful, and we just wish you guys a blessed day, and we will see you next Sunday.